It was criminal to destroy a whole people that welcomed the Europeans. Criminal. It was criminal to kidnap us or buy us from our crooked fathers that sold us. It was criminal to abuse us and rob us, blind, deaf, and dumb, of our name, language, culture, history, religion, and God, and turn us upside down and inside out. It was criminal behavior.
I keep bringing you videos from Minister Louis Farrakhan because I think this modern day we need intensive liberation than even development, because if we liberate our mind, development comes automatically. I have come across a video from Minister Louis Farrakhan that will shock you. An interesting video. I want us to watch this video. I will be back.
I don't want you to throw up your dinner. Listen, wait, before I go any further, this is not to make anybody feel bad. It's to encourage us to be better. We are a beautiful people. And so I wanted to just bring this talk to a climax, I hope, and a close, by trying to lay out for us what the new century and the new millennium will look like if we live up to the standard of the gospel. Yes, sir. If we live up to the standard of the Quran. If the Jews live up to the standard of the Torah. America will be a new America. She's going to hell now on a rocket ship because immorality, vice, and corruption lead the nation. The nation has never been morally correct from the first president. Oh, let's be truthful. I'm not anti, I'm just telling the truth. That's right. George Washington and the founding fathers were founding fathers, but they were criminal. Talk to me. Yes, sir. See, if you can't speak straight words, you will never be successful with God. You can't be a double-talking, double-dealing, hypocritical human being and be right in the sight of God. You must speak straight words.
Yes, sir. Straight words.
It was criminal behavior.
Yes.
That was the foundation of this nation.
That's right. Criminal behavior.
It was criminal to destroy a whole people that welcomed the Europeans.
Criminal.
It was criminal to kidnap us or buy us from our crooked fathers that sold us. It was criminal to abuse us and rob us, blind, deaf, and dumb, of our name, language, culture, history, religion, and God, and turn us upside down and inside out. It was criminal behavior.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Criminal behavior. Crooked behavior.
It was criminal behavior to deprive us of the right to know.
Yes, sir.
For over 300 years, lock books and education to us. It was criminal behavior to then admit us into the church.
Go ahead, Brother.
But doctor the message.
That's right. That's right.
No. Listen to me. To let us into the church and doctor the message that we would not be good servants of God and His Christ, but be willing tools of service for our slave masters and their children. That's why white pastors have accepted you. because they knew you were Christian slaves instead of free men and women under Jesus.
Yes, sir.
They blame Elijah Muhammad and say, Elijah Muhammad said Christianity is a white man's religion.
No.
Well, if it were not the white man's religion, why then are you coming up with a black theological perspective?
That's right. That's right.
Talk back to me.
Go ahead.
Why did you have to paint his face black in the church?
That's right.
It isn't because you were living a lie. Somebody told a lie that you had to correct. Christianity, as it was taught, is a white man's religion because white supremacy is the doctrine of that religion that painted Jesus white, the angels white, everything of value white.
Teach us, Brother Minister. Come on. Go ahead, Brother Minister.
Somebody had to straighten it out.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Brother Minister.
Willie Wilson ain't no ordinary preacher.
Go ahead, Brother Minister. Teach us, Brother Minister.
If he were an ordinary preacher, he'd be dressed in ordinary preacher clothes. Look how fine our pastor looks here tonight. Make anybody jealous. He got an Egyptian cross. An ankh. He's straightening out religion. 25, 30 years ago, you wouldn't have no African drums and people coming down the aisle. Oh, no, not 25 years ago. 25 years ago, you'd be swinging incense and you getting black now. You blackening up Christianity. You giving it soul. White folk thought they tricked us. We got in the church and found God. Now we got him coming. What is it that you people found in there? You are the best Christians. You are the best Christians. You are the only people in Christendom that have turned the other cheek, that have prayed for those that despitefully use you, that bless them that curse you, that love them that hate you. You live it better than the president, than the Congress, than all of them. So why then should you be the tail? Why then shouldn't you be the head? And that's what I wanted to talk about. I'm going to close with this. I used to visit the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in Chicago. And when I would sit at his table, he would look at me and say, "Brother, you have to do more than preach that Jonah went to Nineveh." And I was so dumb, I didn't ask him, "What are you talking about?" You don't ask. He's right, he said about the ass. He didn't know how dumb I was. I would come back to his house again, and he'd look at me again. Say, brother, you got to do more than preach that Jonah went to Nineveh. Now, he must have said that to me. If he said it once, he must have said it at least 8 or 9 times. So the boy was really dumb. And I never did ask him. Every time he said it, I just listened. And you know, sometimes when you look at a cow, you know, the cow will turn his head and look at you. And you talk to the cow. Now, I'm not a country boy, but the people that live on the farm, they told me this. The cow look at you, you talk to the cow really looks like he understands.
You understand?
But then after you finish, he say, moo. Now, you know, the mark of a great pastor and a great teacher is that sometimes they teach above the student's head. It's not that the student is stupid, but they put something out there for the student to grow up to. It's like Jesus when he said, there are many things that I could tell you, but you can't bear it now. See, so you got to have a certain foundation for certain knowledge. So it would be useless to put knowledge on a foundation that's not there. But sometimes a wise teacher gives you something to shoot for. So now my teacher's gone, and I finally began to understand 20-some years later. Now that's a real dummy. Now, you know, the Million Man March, which our beloved mother, I'm glad you are here tonight, Mother, so I could say this to you from the depth of my heart. You were so kind and so gracious and so courageous to put the National Council of Negro Women behind the Million Man March. She sent word out. She sent word out to all her chapters. And even though she was persecuted for doing so, she stood up. And so, Mother, I'm honored to just be on the same platform with you, who have worked so hard all your life to serve our women and thus serve our nation through our women. And I want you to know before I bust buttons off of my shirt, my cufflinks are falling out. I better stop before I'm naked.
Lord have mercy.
And Mom made it be like it was in the old days. Anyway. You know, it's wonderful when you can take a very serious subject. 25 years later, I began to understand. I knew that I had to come to Washington to call for this march. But I didn't know it from a talk with Joe or John or Henry or Frank. I knew it by reading the Word of God.
Go ahead, Brother Minister.
Although as a Muslim the Quran is a guide for me, I love the gospel.
Go ahead, Brother Minister.
And I try to live both the gospel, the Torah, and the Quran.
Yes, sir.
This is true.
That's right.
I was reading Luke in a book called The Death of the Messiah.
Go ahead, Brother Minister.
And when I read a certain verse, I broke down and started crying. I can't go into what I had been communicated to me that I had to do that brought the tears. But when I read this, it says, and Jesus set his face for Jerusalem. And from there, he would be taken up. Now, Jerusalem to the Jews is Washington, D.C. to America.
That's right.
Listen, it's just a fact.
Yes, sir.
I set my face for Washington, not knowing the future. But I know that something is to happen with me and with you. When I called for 1 million men, it just came out of my mouth by inspiration. I saw it go out and I said, oh, what is that? Then after it went out, I had to go to work, and I could not have done it without Cora Masters Barry. And listen, there wouldn't have been no 1 million man march if it was not for this man. This is a good man. Man. He backed the 1 million man march. Without his administration, it wouldn't have happened. He is a hero to the 1 million man march. He's like the pillars that are under a beautiful building. You see the beautiful building, but the pillar is hidden. She's a pillar. Yes, man, another button came on. Look, I think I better go.
We're gonna bring you a scale.
I thought this was an expensive. This is a Gianni Versace suit. Well, I better save the button. I better make sure the belt don't fall off. I should have dressed like you. Well, I'm gonna take this other cufflink out because I can't afford to lose it. Where was I before my clothes start falling off? I'm gonna bring it to a halt before a tragedy takes place. But brothers and sisters, listen. You are so significant to the future of this nation. You know, as a Christian, we've just come through Easter. Easter is not a day. Easter represents a season of transformation from that which is death into life. The very blood of Christ that you say was shed on Good Friday, and it's only a good day. Not because the murder of a good man is good, but what came out of it was good, which is to teach us a lesson, because our lives have been hard. But out of every negative circumstance, there's something of value if you go through the negative with a positive attitude. Now listen, please. See, Jesus at first, he said, look, if would you pass this cup for me? You know what I mean? I don't necessarily want to go through this thing. Now, you know how it is when you got a big, heavy trial to go through, you're trying to duck it, you know what I mean? And God said, no, you're going to have to go through this. So he said, okay. I mean, that's a good servant, because he didn't want to do it. But then after a while, he said, all right. And he went to the cross. And Isaiah the prophet said he was like a sheep, dumb before its shearers. Now, I've never been on the farm, but when the shearer comes to shear the sheep just lay there. They don't make a sound. Whoop, 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 the wool is gone. Here they messing over a good man. He ain't saying nothing. It's straight ahead, because his trust is in God. And 3 days later, see, when they were celebrating that they got rid of a good man, when they looked, the stone was rolled away. He was gone. Now they had to deal with some powerful disciples who had been reinvigorated by his resurrection, and they became no longer disciples but apostles. See, now that's why I don't like for Christians to use the term prophet. It's in the New Testament. But apostle is above a prophet, according to the New Testament. And if you're a true follower of Jesus Christ, the Bible said the least of his disciples, the least was more arrayed in all than Solomon in all of his glory. So if you celebrate the wisdom of Solomon and you say you're a follower of Christ, he has put you above all the prophets. Now, I'm about to end. Why did Elijah Muhammad keep hitting me with this Jonah guy? Then I started studying this fella. He was a mess. He's running from his job. God called him. He don't want to come. Does it remind you of yourself? All of you sitting in here. You know God got a job for you, not just for Willie Wilson. He got something for you to do, and you know it, but you learn them dances in the disco and you slide. You running from your responsibility. That man got caught up in a whale. He started praying. The whale spit him out on dry land. Then the boy had to come in sackcloth and ashes, and then he said, all right, I'm gonna go on and preach. Say, you got to do more than preach. That Jonah went to Nineveh. And what did he do when he went to Nineveh? That man's preaching was so effective till Nineveh was the only city that a judgment of God was rendered against that escaped that judgment.
That's right.
For nearly 400 years because of the preaching of Jonah. Now Jesus said, you wicked and adulterous generation, seeking after a sign, there shall be no sign given to you but the sign of who? Jonah. As Jonah was in the belly of the whale 3 days and 3 nights, so shall the Son of Man be in the heart of the earth. Now, I can't go into it all tonight because this is not the right time or place, but enough to say this. I read somewhere where Jonah means in some language the dove. Here's Jesus going up on a mount. He sees an altar to Moses and an altar to Elijah, and then a dove descends, settles on Jesus, and a voice speaks saying, "This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased." All the altars disappear, all the prophets disappear, and Jesus is left alone. What I want to say to you, Jesus of 2,000 years ago was a sign of the one who would come at the end of the world, that has the same name as the man who was a sign. Oh, brothers and sisters, you got to understand, you didn't paint him black for nothing. Would you be surprised? Why don't you go back and read the gospel again? And look at yourself. Here Jesus plotted on before he was born. Look at you. Can any good come out of Anacostia? Can any good come up out of black America? But here you come. Here's our mayor. A man born from the poor. He didn't come with a silver spoon in his mouth, but he grew by fighting for justice. He grew to become the mayor of the capital city of the world. Not once, but after a fall, God brought him back and gave it to him again. Now look, we all got shortcomings. Ain't nobody in here holy. Let's get the record straight. God didn't choose us because we were holy. He chose us that his works might be made manifest in us. Do you know who you are? Well, let me start with the name Jesus. Try it on. Don't tell me you believe in him and are not him.
Come on. Come on with it.
I'm going to say it again. Don't tell me you believe in Jesus and you're not Jesus.
Come on.
What is America but Calvary for us?
Come on, brother.
What is America but Golgotha for us? It is us that have been on the cross. Hands nailed. Can't build for self, can't work for self, refuse to defend ourselves because our hands are nailed. Our feet are nailed. And a crown of thorns is on our head. I have my doctorate degree from Harvard. But you're just a Harvard nigger to white people. A PhD nigger. So all that you know, you wonder why, with all the knowledge you have, you can't get ahead in the world because your knowledge is a crown of thorns. You join the lodge and you get 32 degrees or 33 degrees, but you are 33 degrees shrine. Desmond Diggs, a man that fought for Africa, but when he fought too hard, they got rid of him because he's too black, too strong. But if Jesus' blood that was shed was to redeem a world, our blood soaks the soil of this nation. Can nobody tell us that this is not ours? We paid for this with our blood. So God says in the scripture, thou shalt no more be the tail. Thou shalt be the head, and the bottom shall come to the top, and the last shall be the first. And the stone that the builders rejected, the same will become the headstone of the corner. This is the Lord's doing. And on the third day, he rose from the dead. It's a season of resurrection. Man, 20 years ago, impossible. Now, mayor. Soon, you're going to run the whole thing. No. This is what got them upset. Because they see your numbers multiplying. They see you coming into numerical strength. And if you get education, or the right kind of education, and spiritual understanding from a good pastor, then you're going to come into the power of God. And you, like Jesus, will rule. Oh, yes. And that's all I wanted to say tonight before all my buttons got busted off. We are destined to rule this country, where we were sold as a slave. And you can no longer sit now and drink and party and act a fool. You got to clean up your life and get ready to rule in the next century.
Yes, sir.
And you will not let your fathers down, your mothers down, your grandfathers, your grandmothers, your great-grandfathers, and your great-grandmothers. You are destined to rule America, and whether you want it or not, God is going to take the kingdom from the enemy and give it to you and your children to rule. May God bless you as I greet you in peace. Assalamu alaikum.
So that was Minister Louis Farrakhan. This is a message of enlightenment, a message of liberation, a message that also educates us on the world we find ourselves. We have to set up. I came in contact with his videos a few months ago, and it has really liberated my mindset, how I used to see things. So that has made me share a lot of his videos, and most of his videos are a little old, but the message in these videos is what is happening today. So I always say, whatever was happening in the 60s, the 50s, which Minister Louis Farrakhan used to talk about, is exactly what is happening today. So nothing much has really changed. His message has opened my eyes, and now I see things differently. Maybe a lot of people will argue with him based on the religious line, but I can't question what people's beliefs, because these days everyone is liberating themselves from different beliefs to another different beliefs. We all have our way of liberating our mind, and sharing this man video and listening to him has somehow liberated myself when it comes to political lines, when it comes to religious line, and when it also comes into the international politics doings or international politics happenings. So I've learned a lot from Minister Louis Farrakhan, and as I keep on saying, anytime I come across his videos that I think can help my viewers or can benefit my viewers to also liberate themselves, and to all, if I realize the message is good, I won't hesitate to share on my platform. I won't hesitate to let you know about how good his messages are. Please, if you want to join my Telegram group, then go to my description box, click on the Telegram link. It will take you to the platform. Join us for us to talk about the well-being of Africa and what do we call it? And in Africans in diaspora and both Africans living in African continent. If today is your first time coming to my channel, then don't forget to subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification button so that anytime I upload any great content, you will be notified. I'm always your guy, De-Graft Amoako. Thanks for watching.